What's up, football fans? The Snowman here, the NFL regular season in full swing. So I figured it'd be appropriate to go over the NFL playoff structure right now. I've already made a broader video talking about how the NFL is set up, but today we'll focus specifically on the NFL postseason. So things like how many teams qualify for the playoff schedule, also looking at the seeding structure, just everything in regards to the NFL postseason. So in order to understand how the NFL playoffs are set up, we need to back up to the regular season. As of 2025, all 32 teams play 17 regular season games each season. Those 32 teams are comprised of two conferences with 16 teams each, the American Football Conference, or AFC, and the National Football Conference, or NFC. This is an example of the AFC standings from the 2024 NFL regular season. Again, every team plays 17 games each, and once that process is complete, we tally up everyone's win-loss records, and the 7 teams in each conference with the best records qualify for the postseason. So 14 playoff teams in total, 7 from the AFC and 7 from the NFC. This year from the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs were the number 1 seed for the playoffs since they had 15 wins and just 2 losses in the regular season. The other playoff teams were the Bills, Ravens, Texans, Chargers, Steelers, and Broncos. Then in the NFC, we had our other 7 playoff teams led by the Detroit Lions. They were joined by the Eagles, Bucks, Rams, Vikings, Commanders, and Packers. The better records you have, the better that team is seeded for the ensuing playoffs. There is one caveat to that rule, though. You might notice that even though the Bucks and the Rams went 10-7, they were actually ranked higher for the playoffs than the Vikings, who won 14 games along with the other playoff teams. That's because in the NFL, each conference has 4 divisions of 4 teams each, and each division winner is guaranteed a top 4 seed in the playoffs. So for example, Tampa Bay finished the regular season at 10-7. However, that was good enough for first place in their NFC South division. Meanwhile, the Minnesota Vikings had a sensational season, winning 14 games compared to 3 losses, but since the Lions were the best team in the NFC North, that meant that Minnesota had to fall in the seeding to at least number 5 in the NFC. The top 4 playoff teams all have to be division winners, and then the 5, 6, and 7 seeds go to the best remaining teams, or the wild card teams. In this case, it was the Vikings, Commanders, and Packers. Once we have our 7 teams set from each conference, the playoffs begin, and they're typically played throughout January with the Super Bowl in February. Everything from here on out is single elimination, so if a team loses a playoff game, they're immediately eliminated and knocked out of championship contention. In terms of the playoff rounds, we have 4 distinct rounds: the wild card round, the divisional round, the AFC and NFC championships, and finally the Super Bowl. For the first round, or wild card weekend, we have matchups in each conference where a division winner faces off against a wild card team. So the 2 seed and the 7 seed play against each other. The 3 and the 6 seed and the 4th and 5th ranked teams face off as well. In all playoff games, the team that is seeded better is the team with home field advantage. So at the top there in the AFC, Baltimore was the 3 seed, Pittsburgh the 6 seed. Since Baltimore had the better seed, that playoff game was played at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. I should also mention about Wild Card Weekend, every team plays in round 1 except for the 1 seeds in each conference. So in this case, Kansas City and Detroit were the respective top seeds. They received an automatic bye into the second round, or the divisional round, as a reward for their excellent regular seasons. From here, it's relatively straightforward. This is another layout of the 2024 playoff bracket that we were just looking at. We have our 4 rounds starting on the outer edges with the wild card games. Winners of that move on to the divisional round. Losers are eliminated. One last wrinkle: when we go from the wild card round to the divisional round, teams are reseeded. What does that mean? Well, for example, in the NFC, the 6-seeded Washington Commanders won their wild card game. Because of that, they went on to face the 1-seeded Lions in the divisional round because the Commanders were the worst seeded team remaining. In other leagues like the NBA or Major League Baseball or March Madness, the seeding does not reset. everything is kind of set in stone who will play each other in future rounds, but the NFL does reseed after the wild card round. So in this case, if the 7-seeded Packers hypothetically beat the 2-seeded Eagles, the Packers actually would have gone on to play the Lions in round 2, and the Commanders would have played the Rams. I know it's a bit convoluted, but just remember that the 1 seed always plays the worst remaining seed from their conference in the divisional round. And that divisional round is round 2. This is our 8 remaining teams. 4 more games here with the winners moving on to the AFC and NFC championship games. That brings us to our final 4 clubs, and from there our AFC winner moves on to meet our NFC champion in football's ultimate showdown, the Super Bowl. One final game at the end of the year to determine an NFL champion, and unlike the other playoff games, the Super Bowl always played at a neutral location that's chosen before the season begins, so typically no home field advantage there. Just 2 teams and 60 minutes to decide which team will forever be immortalized in football glory. Thanks a lot for watching my NFL Playoffs Explained video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to the Snowman Sports Media and be on the lookout for more sports content. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you very soon. Cheers.